This is Hot Indonesia, where you get 3 for the price of 1. I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta. Here is this week's HI Hot List. Bad signal, why the country's national broadcaster needs more than fine-tuning. Inconvenience stores, will banning liquor sales make any difference? And Looney Bins, who's stealing all the city's cute garbage cans and why? Here beside me when she's not planning the country's future is Yenny Wahid, director of the Wahid Institute, president or daughter of the 4th president of Indonesia, not yet president, and color coordinator, which she is very well.
Oh,
yeah. Sarah's out. Sitting in for her is a fellow parliament member, Tantowi Yahya, representing South Sumatra at the big house in Senayan.
No, Jakarta right now.
Oh, you represent Jakarta?
I represent Jakarta right now.
I got it.
Yeah.
Bigger.
North and West Jakarta.
And I want to finish Indonesia's Blake Shelton. I give him my new. I love it. Okay. Hot topic number 1: bad signal. It has 7,000 employees with an annual budget of more than $60 million. But Televisi Republik Indonesia, TVRI, is not known for its quality. In fact, ratings are low single digits and corruption is a factor in the production of programs. So, Parliament is working on fixing the problem with a merger of TVRI and Radio Republic Indonesia. The goal, says one lawmaker, is to be as good someday as the BBC or Japan's NHK. Now, that lawmaker is sitting in the studio, Tantowi. There are 2 issues here. One, of course, is the huge bureaucracy of both, which would be cut down by a merger, and that would be a help. But the second more important factor is better content. So 2 different issues, 2 different very important issues here.
Yeah, our public broadcasters, TVRI and RRI, have been experiencing the same problems from time to time. There are 3 big major issues that have to be solved in a very short future. The first is the funding support, which comes from majorly from the state budget, from APBN.
Taxpayers, us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The second is the weak or unskilled manpower, which cannot be fired because of their status. And the third is the weak and outdated technology. So these 3 main issues can only be solved if there is a political support from the parliament. Because we understand the government, in this case, Ministry of Communication and Information, has been doing a lot, but then they are limited by political issues behind that. So from the last terms, my last terms in the parliament, we have been coming up with an idea of strengthening the positions of our public broadcasters. First, by making the umbrella, the law, to cover the operations. So that is the reasons why the arrangements of the public broadcast in Indonesia is no longer under broadcast law, which is now being amended. But we take it out and put it into a special law, which we call the Public Broadcast Law, or RTRI, which stands for Radio Televisi Republik Indonesia. So by having this, we can then move forward by giving more budget as requested to broadcast, to run a public broadcast.
They need more budget? They seem to have a pretty big budget right now.
No, we need more budget to cover 250 million people right now.
Okay.
Okay, second, and then by having this law, then the government and the DPR would have accessibility to what do you call it, to rearrange the staffing, the manpower.
So you want to have more direct control. That's what this law would give.
Of course. So in a very short future, because the law should be passed this year, so 2 or 3 years at the latest from now, we can see already the world caliber, the world standard public broadcast like NHK, like BBC.
Yeah, I hope so.
Earlier.
I hope it's sooner than that. And I have a suggestion for you later on. But Yenny, you grew up when TVRI had the monopoly, right? And they were the only game in town before private television was allowed. I'm told programming was better back then. I mean, is that true, or seems so?
There were no competitions, of course. They're the only one who provides this service. Television.
But you can tell bad or good even if they're the only one, and maybe because the equipment was new then.
To be fair, Dalton, I hardly watch TV nowadays, so I cannot compare.
Okay,
I don't blame her for that.
Well, but not many people are. 2% at rating share, basically.
Well, 2% rating share is not that bad. I mean,
That's
if you
for a national broadcaster in every province, that's
and I'm
terrible.
quite surprised about the issue of budgeting because this is from what I heard is that you can actually hire a time slot at TVRI to run your program. You know, if you have any programs whatsoever, if you want to create a program there, then it's available for public or for certain.
Well, you can propose a program like anyone.
No, the budget that has been placed for them right now is not sufficient. It's far from being sufficient to support what they need. For instance, there are over 356 relay towers all over Indonesia. And probably you get surprised when I say only 25% of those are working. 25%. So you can never expect to receive the signals even in the outskirts of Jakarta.
Wow.
I just came back from Aceh 2 weeks ago. You know what happened? They have, in Aceh, there are 11 quartiers, kabupaten. And there are right now 11 relay stations. Only 2 of them are working.
So you're talking about budget for the hardware, the technology.
Of course, the technology.
Not so much, not even
first
the
is
content.
outdated.
Yeah.
Outdated. And second, it's no longer enough. I mean, to cover the big area of Indonesia from Sabang to Merauke, you need a big scale.
And we need moving from analog to digital as well. That's
and
big.
you have to operate much bigger operations than the private stations are doing right now.
Sure.
Because this is the voice of the country.
bigger band-aid. Yeah, you know,
Voice
But
of
how are you going
Indonesia.
to, how are you going to overcome the issue of creativity? It really comes to human resources.
and that's the second part. After
Exactly.
technology,
So can you just phase them out or move them out to
you can't
different,
fire them.
different maybe different departments?
Force them to retire.
It's irrelevant right now, Yenny, to run a broadcast with 7,000 people. Right now. Right now, it's, running a television right now is, is becoming more efficient.
Right.
Right? First,
We have 20 people here at my channel.
you have 20 people. Look at what other private TV stations.
Yeah, 900, 1,000.
900. At least, the maximum they have 1,000. Now we have 7,000 people working all over Indonesia. And some of them do not really know what to do. So this is a kind of a waste. This is kind of a waste. And this is what we have to
Big
cut.
waste. Yeah.
This is what we have to cut. And the second point is that we have to merge the televisions and radio, like in other country.
Yeah, NHK does that. And I worked at NHK.
BBC.
Yeah, and BBC, every
BBC
other
as
one
well,
does it.
right.
But, there are limitations of a publicly funded
And also
company.
online,
Yeah,
every,
online.
Every major
Digital, of
Online as well.
stations has
But,
got
you said
online
one thing right,
operations.
Tantowi. Quality is a target here, and nothing less than perfection is accepted at a place like NHK. As I said, I worked there. Maybe it's tied in with a cultural mindset or people's attitudes and caring about their work. You got to care about what you do, or it's not going to get better.
Well, in my assumption, because I used to be in the television business for quite some time.
As everyone knows,
Right.
as a performer.
Especially in a creative department, you cannot hire permanent employees because then you cannot fire them.
Oh, because they get complacent.
Exactly, exactly.
It's
There's
government,
no
yeah.
competitions and
Okay, that is the first one. And the second, when you talk about creativity, it belongs to young people.
right.
When they get older,
Hey, you're creative, I'm creative. Come on.
Because you hang out with young people.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
it.
That's the thing.
Very true, yeah,
Maybe you
very
should
true.
hang out
No, but I
with
mean,
people over
you know what I'm
60,
saying? It's not
Dalton.
the age. It's just your professionalism and your ability.
well, no, I don't really agree with that. If you look at what happens in the private TV station in Jakarta, look at those who work in the creative department. Majority are young people,
Okay, well-
and they're not permanent employees.
Well, they've got supervisors who are older.
I know.
But the
It's
creative
very true.
department is always
It's very
the
true.
Okay, we could talk
younger
a lot about
department.
this, but you said by the end of this year, maybe the law passed, and we see some difference in a year or two after that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Go Tantowi.
Yeah, all right. Hot
We'll
Endo will,
support you
and
for
I want to
that.
offer my channel to the government. I talked about that. Let's talk about that. Hot Endo will continue
It's a
shortly.
good over, hard to resist that.
Price is good. Does banning beer at the 7-Eleven make sense? You're watching Hot Indonesia with Yenny, guest host Tantowi Yahya, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, inconvenience stores. As of April 16th, you won't be able to buy a Bintang or Smirnoff Ice from your nearest 7-Eleven or Alphamart. That's because the government is banning the sale of beer and other low alcohol content beverages from convenience stores. It's being done for, quote, the protection of morals and culture in society. But some retailers and many customers say you cannot legislate morality. First, convenience stores are supposed to be just that, convenient. Not being able to go buy a beer in my neighborhood forces me to take a trip to the bigger markets, wasting gas, wasting time, and by then I'm not thirsty anymore.
Well, it sounds like monopoly again. I mean, if it's only the big stores that can sell alcohol, then
So you're not for the ban, Yenny?
I am not. I'm for anything that doesn't. I'm for government that doesn't try to regulate morality.
And that's what they sound like they're doing.
In any form, be it in the banning of alcohol, or be it in the form of women wearing headscarves, or or a man forced to wear Muslim clothes in Friday. So anything, morality should be left to the society.
And what does our lawmaker say here?
Yeah. What I understand, the government now has been trying to steal the heart, to win the heart of the people by making laws, by making policies, which they think can win the heart of the people. One of these is that. We all understand that law should be implemented to all people. In other words, that every human being in Indonesia is equal in front of the law. What happens if you apply the law only in Jakarta, and then what happens to Bali? All the convenience stores in Bali or other tourist destination areas and Manado, they are selling alcohols, they are selling beers.
And that would kill business for them.
Exactly, they will kill their business. Yeah. So what I mean to say here is that the government should be very careful in trying to win the heart of the people. Okay, we need regulations to control our kids from going to the convenience store and buy alcohol, condom as such. But then there is another way of doing that.
Yeah.
Is that by posting a very strict regulation in it, and then
asking for ID.
Asking for ID, and put someone to control that. If they violate the law, then with no hesitation, the government should close.
There is a law now. You can't drink under a certain age.
Yeah, but the implementation, of course, in Indonesia, the issue has always been the implementation.
The enforcement. So is there, okay,
yeah.
you mentioned other things in you don't want government. I mean, is there a religious undercurrent in this besides, you're trying not to prevent underage drinking? Is there something?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, Yen.
Because it's haram in Islam.
Oh, I don't really think that it's just an issue of an Islamic issue, but I think people who feel that they are morally, high ground, feels that banning alcohol should enhance their positions in the society, and in this case, it's the government, and they're using alcohol has always been the bane of issues of morality in any parts of the world, not just in Indonesia. I mean, in the U.S., for example, there had been an era,
Prohibition
era,
20s.
in which the alcohol was...
And it didn't work.
Well, it made someone a president, but,
And it made some people rich.
Some people rich, exactly.
Dalton, what should be regulated right now by the government is that the placement of products which are not for the consumption of kids. For instance, like alcohol drinks, and then like condom, which are placed in the site.
Well, right by the cash register.
Exactly.
They want to sell it. Yeah.
This is what should be regulated.
Okay.
Yeah, strictly regulated by the government.
Well, or cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
We could go on and on with lists, but if the goal of government is to protect society from the impact of alcohol, which is what they're saying, then all sales should be banned. Why just from convenience stores? Could that ever happen here like in Brunei?
There is a bigger issue actually. When they say it's something to do with alcohol, is this mix, the oplosan, what do you call it? The mixed alcohol that the people mixed with all these dangerous substances to create such a high effect, but actually kills you.
Yeah, the homemade brews.
Actually kills you. And it had killed many people. Government should have put more effort to crack down on all these operations.
Well, the host
In my
drinks.
opinion.
Can we drink too?
You can, yes. This is not during
This is
the
not
holy
alcohol,
month.
so it's okay.
We're not doing that.
It's
This
not
is
alcohol?
strictly water. Okay, more Hot Indo is coming up. Can the person who stole these garbage bins please call us? You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Here's hot topic number 3, Looney Bins. Maybe it's a good thing, but likely not. The city's new trash containers are disappearing like fruit off the tree. That's probably because some of them are shaped like watermelons and mangoes, along with frogs and penguins. The Jakarta Post reports that in Menteng, 14 of these cute cans were all gone just 7 hours after installation. You know, in all, there are 1,800 sets installed at a cost of $600,000. That's $120 a frog, if you divide it up. You know, I don't mind if the thieves are taking them home to use them as trash containers, but I don't think so.
They said the number is actually higher. And that's what I thought.
And that's our money
even
again.
More sinister.
Okay, what's
about
going on
the whole
here?
Trash bin issue.
Is there a kidnap? Is there a hostage thing going on here?
You know, what happens in our society, Yenny, is the bad habit, what we call it as iseng. How do you say that in English, iseng? I mean, you do something, but you don't really mean to do it. For instance, like when you steal something, you don't need it. What you don't steal because you need it, but you steal because you simply like doing it.
You don't think about the consequence.
Exactly.
You just
So that's what's going on here?
It's a thoughtless act.
Yeah, this is what should be corrected through educations and then through the parents at home. So this is
Maybe the parents are taking it, you know?
yeah, this is the fault of the parents of the parents.
Yeah.
Right? For instance, like it has been a complaint of a lot of airliner for being the victims for having lost a lot of life vest.
Are you kidding?
Life vest. Okay.
Being taken home.
It's being taken home. And they do understand. They don't need it. Okay. What is it used for? Nothing. But they just like doing it.
I thought it was the headphones. That's, you know, but the life vest, that's life-threatening
as well. The life vest
That's terrible. Okay, so the sanitation agency here in charge says that it plans to do an undercover operation to catch the thieves in the act. I mean, what are they going to hide in the frog and then pop out?
You know, with that price of the bin, you know, each price, the theft is actually not out there, but within the sanitary department, in my opinion. I mean, why do you pay like almost $5 million for a bin? For a trash bin? Come on.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
tax money.
I would make them pick up trash as punishment if they caught whoever did it, right?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
but it's a crime. It's a.
I know it is crime.
Yeah.
But I cannot imagine how many policemen does it take to take care of the properties.
But you know what? I think if we start with that, it might teach young kids about some disciplines, about obligations to respect other people's property.
It should be taught at schools.
It should be, but
It should be taught at school.
At home.
Yeah, but without.
Yeah, and at home as well.
But without any proper, punishments when they have crossed the line, then any education is not going to
make them
stick
pick up
to the
trash,
head,
like I said. The bigger issue of litter is what's behind this, of course, and it's huge here. There is no real social stigma attached to anyone who litters, and it's not enforced. So that's a large issue. So if you're watching and you want to return the penguins and watermelons, please bring them here to the Indonesia channel. We'll get them back to the right place. Yeah. Okay, it is feedback time. Your turn to talk. Senadi had this comment on Facebook. I like Dalton's final words about interfaith marriage, and I meant it, Senadi, when I said it doesn't matter what God you pray to when you are vowing eternal love. If you have any feedback on what you've heard or would like to suggest a topic for us to tackle, please email us at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Indonesia channel Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram pages. Final words, Tantowi.
As a parliamentarian, I would like to say about my interests on the development of democracy in Indonesia. There is no way we can achieve development which then will be beneficial for the people as long as the parliament and the executive office are still in a big quarrel like what happens today. So what it needs, what is needed, what it takes to become a good democratic country is the cooperation, the huge and big and beautiful cooperations between the parliament and the executive office. Then we can expect one day Indonesia will be as good as any country we have in our mind. Thank you.
Wow. I'm afraid to say my final words, Yenny.
Okay, I'm just gonna let it out a little bit. It's about just some stories. It has this ability to just stick to your head and makes you wonder and actually wanting for more. And this time it's about koala. The koala is actually is endangered now,
Oh.
and the population is dwindling down due to some attacks from wild dogs attacks to, go figure, sexually transmitted disease. So
Koala bears?
Koala, exactly, chlamydia to be more precise. So I read this and one of the news channels, but it didn't really. I mean, it elaborates on the issues of the wild dog attacks and all that, but never said anything about the sexually transmitted disease. So it's what gives? Could you just please finalize the story so that we don't actually wonder how does that actually attack the koala?
They need to do safe koala sex. Then they get no sex transmitted disease.
Koalas.
Or go to the convenience store, buy condoms. Okay. My final words. Simple. When you get excited about something, don't be afraid to show it because it serves to keep your spirit young. That's what I believe. Wow. Okay. And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Yenny and Tantowi, I'm Dalton Tanonaka. See you next time.